and welcome to Kung Fu Connections Warrior Class Series. My name is Master Rubio, and I will be your host in this integrative group of classes where you will learn basics that will allow you to further advance and empower yourself in the practice of Chinese martial arts and traditional Chinese Kung Fu. So the first thing that we learn in Chinese Kung Fu, at least in my case, when I was but a young lad, I approached my master, and his name was Master Kenny Chin. His Chinese name was Cheng Bing Chin. And the first thing that he had us learn in his school, which was the Florida Shaolin Kung Fu Federation, was how to count in Chinese. So at 11, he brought me over to this chart that was on the wall, and he had me read over and over and over again. Yat, yi, sam, say, lok, chat, bat, gao, sup. Over and over and over, because he knew that for the rest of my life, I would obviously be counting in Chinese. Secondarily, the thing that you learn in Chinese Kung Fu, that you should be learning in all other martial arts, is how to make a proper fist. And it makes a real big difference on whether you make it right or whether you make it wrong. You know, something funny that you see in the movies all the time is when one guy hits another guy in the face and then you see him do this. Well, that's ridiculous, because the softness of the jawbone is nothing compared to the knuckles. So the proper way to make a fist is as follows. Watch my hand. Step 1, curl at the first knuckles, curl at the large knuckles, and then properly tuck the fist in. Make sure that your fist is flat and that the top 2 knuckles are always the striking surface. These top 2 knuckles must strike the opponent before anything else. That is where the power connects to your center, which connects to your stance, which connects to the earth, which thereby accesses strength in your strike. So, what I basically indirectly just said is very simple. Your stance is your foundation. And without a strong foundation, every house will crumble, as you know. So now I want to display for you precisely what I mean when I say that foundation is essential in all martial arts. And in fact, it is your stance, which is how we teach students how to stand, how to walk, and how to run. Just as when a baby is born, they must first stand. Actually, they must first crawl. Then they learn to stand. Then they learn to walk. Then they learn to run. Same thing in martial arts. You have to learn how to stand. Then you have to learn how to walk. And there are specific ways in the stances. And then you have to learn how to run. And then from that, with the power that you develop in your legs, you learn how to jump, how to kick, etc., etc. And that foundation will provide you with all of the strength and all of the power that you require to be able to take an opponent down with one strike, whether it be your fist or your leg. So I will call on my trusty assistant, Sifurigo, to explain exactly what I mean. So in this situation, I want you to see something. I am going to use the most common technique that we have, the reverse punch, and I'm going to strike Rigo lightly. But I want you to watch for one thing, the most important thing, how power dissipates. Watch. Did you notice? Did you notice that both he and I fell back? Now, watch what happens if my opponent, partner, assumes a stance and I do not, and I am still the aggressor. Please notice the dissipation of power. what happened? The power came back at me because he was in a strong stance, he was in a strong foundation, and I did not have a strong foundation. Okay? So now, watch what happens when I maintain a strong foundation in my stance and my opponent does not. And please keep in mind that in commonplace situations, most people out in the street don't know the first thing about what a stance is. As a matter of fact, even the word, you tell them, what is a stance? They don't know. So watch what happens now. As you can see, all of the power that came from my strike and from my stance, from my waist, from my muscles, from my bones, from my intent, was dissipated into the opponent. So this leads me to the next segment of our video classes, which is going to be, obviously, stance work. I hope you are able to join us in our next upcoming session. Thank you.